Hello, my name is Wildstag, and thank you for tuning in to another used book rant. Today, I'm going to be doing something a bit unusual by covering a trio of books, a short trilogy from the Forgotten Realms campaign setting lore. The trilogy is The Twilight Giants. Here are the covers with the stickers still on them. One of them, the first one, the sticker covers the title, so I'm also going to show the spine. The first one, The Ogre's Pact. The second one, The Giant Among Us. And the third one, The Titan of Twilight. These were published in the first one in 1994, the last one in 1995. So these books came out over a very short amount of time during the mid-90s. I bought them at McKay Books. The first book was $2.74, the second $2.72, and the last one $3.29. So all told, under 10 for a good trilogy. Each one boils down to a damsel in distress kind of story. So first off, to kind of provide some context for the viewers, this book is centered around the Hartsvale region of the Forgotten Realms. It is where a lot of giant-based stories happen, because I guess this is where humans eke out a civilization amongst a large population of giants. In the Forgotten Realms campaign setting, each giant is part of the ordning, part of this order of responsibility and right to rule set up by the god that created them. Each larger giant is progressively more and more authoritative. There are a couple types of giants, however, that are not considered true giants in the order, that ordning, that were effectively the bastard children of the mother of all giants and another god. This story centers around a Firbolg. Firbolg are among those giants that are from that bastard brood of giants. They are the shortest of the giants, the least powerful in stature, because they are not descended from the father of all giants, this god of giants that is from whom came all the largest species. The shortest of them, of the true giants, are the hill giants, and each of the giants up, the frost, the flame, the stone giants, storm and cloud, progressively get stronger and more intelligent and more capable, more magical. Lesser giants, such as the Verbeeg, the Firbolg, ogres, they're powerful and bigger than humans, but they're not the same in a political sense compared to the true giants. A lot of them, Verbeeg and Firbolg, are actually more intelligent than the communities of hill giants we see, but they are outside of that ordning. Firbolgs are generally about 10 feet tall, 10 to 12 feet tall, and they all have this good-natured code of living within nature in a certain way. What makes these Firbolgs stand out among all the others is that they have a magical ability to grow about 1 to 2 feet, depending on the Firbolg, at will. They can do it when they have the energy to, I guess. So it's not really at will, but the story presents it as something that can be done constantly. They just need to have the endurance to be able to do it. The story is centered around a character named Tavis Burdun, who is a Firbolg in the employ of the humans. This Firbolg was abandoned and raised to adulthood by humans, but he is a runt. He is only 8 feet tall, tiny even among the Firbolgs that work for the human kingdom. Firbolg, one of their core aspects is that they also cannot willingly tell lies. When they try to deceive others, they almost become sickly. And that helps them be very good guards and defenders of the humans, especially since they're close enough in size that buildings don't need to really be modified too much to fit Firbolgs. The story opens with an ogre kidnapping Brianna of Hartswick. She's the sole heir to the Hartsvale throne. Her father, King Camden, he won his throne in a civil war. And this civil war happened between a member of his own family. To win that civil war, King Camden made a promise, a vow, an oath to hand his daughter's hand in marriage to a giant king should he receive the power needed to take control. He accepted because King Camden, at this point, each part of this line has only ever bred male heirs. There's never been a female in the line at all. So, as it turns out, he does have a daughter, herself a giant among men, just like he himself is a giant among men. And she is raised as a priestess of the goddess, the giantess goddess of the household, the hearth, family. And so she has this great respect for betrothal, for becoming a mother eventually. And what this results in is her being a trophy. Tavis Burdun is in love with her, and she seems to be in love with him, though she is also torn between her love for Tavis and her duty as a royal woman of her lineage. And so she seems to refuse his help at certain parts of the story, but also desire his help and desire him. And so the stories are kind of cookie cutter. In each one, there's a new giant. He's bigger, he's stronger, he's more magical, he's more intelligent, he's craftier. And each time, Brianna of Hartswick is kidnapped or is incapacitated, and Travis must go out there and save her. In the first one, he saves her from ogres and hill giants and that kind of lesser giant. The second one, he is involved with Ettins. Ettins in D&D being two-headed giants. And in that one, it's more of like a visiting royalty from another land, and he seems alright, but really magically he's been disguised as a human while frost giants besiege exterior parts of her kingdom. She is being seduced and tempted to fall in love with this one giant. In the end of that one, she ends up pregnant, but through magical shenanigans that really don't make any sense in any way, she is simultaneously pregnant with one child that is both the son of Travis and the son of this Ettin that forced himself upon her. Magic or some shenanigans. The third book, The Titan of Twilight, brings this whole storyline to a head. Eventually, by the end, the child of Travis and Brianna is this major, almost MacGuffin-like thing where this child is important for major prophecies and it needs to be killed, or it can be a force for good and it needs to be saved. Ultimately, what ends up happening is that she is saved. The child is actually Travis's, but through a weird technicality, and Travis, this runt of a Firbolg, ends up being the father of a new dynasty of Hartsvale. Now, some of this is contradicted by the Forgotten Realms campaign setting details in editions since 2nd edition. Firbolgs have steadily been changed. So, like, in 3rd edition, their abilities, they lost that ability to grow on command, but are basically just red-haired, large men, 12 feet tall. They've lost a lot of their special abilities in exchange for just being kind of boring. And in the lore, Travis should be alive because only 200 years have passed and Firbolgs live for more than just 2 centuries or even 3 centuries. They live a long time. So in theory, Travis should be alive, and yet it's implied he died of old age a long time ago, and now a descendant of his is in charge. There's some discrepancies at the lore level that make this kind of confusing in how it sits in the current Forgotten Realms campaign setting lore, but it is that story that really expanded Hartsvale, put it on the map, and at the time, there were different settings that were getting different storylines, different major characters to showcase them as places where the players could have their party, their adventures, their story. Tavis. I don't know why I keep on saying Travis. It is Tavis Burdun. Tavis just seems like a weird name for me. Maybe that's why I keep on saying the wrong one. But overall, it's a good-ish trilogy. It leans heavily on that damsel in distress story beat. The trilogy was kind of hard to read through for me, not because it was technically difficult at all. It was just kind of not my cup of tea. I don't know how better to put it. I paid less than $10 for these, and yeah, it was worth the $10 for the whole trilogy. The only reason I thought to do this now is because 1D&D is doing its playtest, and they attached Goliaths, which were not originally conceived of as a Forgotten Realms player race, to Forgotten Realms by putting them in Hartsvale. Because, oh, these guys are big, they must be giant-based. And the original writers of the Goliath race seemed to distance the Goliaths from giants as best they could. But 5th edition, Crawford has been really trying to push this Goliaths are giant kin mentality and myth, and then combining elements from other giants into them, and then making absurdly false statements such as, we've always been looking at the stone giant variety of Goliath, and that there were always other giant varieties of Goliath out there, which is literally false unless he ignores entirely 4th and 3rd edition's Goliaths. And they tacked on this ability to grow from Firbolgs and put them onto Goliaths in the current playtest of 1D&D. The frustrations I've been feeling from reading that have kind of led me to want to do this trilogy right now. So, yeah, it's an alright series, an alright trilogy, and I think you should check it out if you ever get the chance. As always, my name is Wildstag, and thank you for tuning into this used book rant.